Pick it up.
We are live. We are live. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. We're gonna give y'all a little bit of time to make it to your seats. Get your popcorn. Make sure your devices are off. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are this afternoon's entertainment. Vic Jr. and Germ So True will be starting their video soon. I am Mo Schefter. Views from the 22 live on the scene. Championship views and dues. It is a special edition of Views and Dues because it is a championship edition of Views and Dues. And three out of the four quarterbacks are former champions. One of them is actually the defending champion playing this Sunday. We got two great games, two primetime matchups, four outstanding quarterbacks. Gentlemen, Germ So True, Vic Jr., how we feeling today?
Look, man, I think y'all know the vibes. You know the vibes. Shout out to the crew. I'm ready to get going. I got a lot to talk about today. I got a lot for y'all today. Just know, just views, baby. Let's go.
Vic Jr., how
Um,
you feeling?
nah, man, it feels good. Like said here, shout out to him. It's Christmas for us football junkies with these upcoming weeks here. I'm just looking forward to good games, man. I honestly wish and hope for a good football games today. Whoever wins. And the Germ said he's got some stuff for us. So I'm gonna just piggyback off of some of this stuff here, and can't wait for what information he has for us today.
Yeah, we got a primetime matchups. That's for sure. Before we jump into it, let's get to some quick news. First and foremost, just recently came across my screen. The Lions are adding former Chiefs and Browns general manager John Dorsey to their senior personnel executive department. So that's the first thing there. For the Packers, Kevin King was listed as questionable. He is actually now active. And Antoine Whitfield, who was questionable, is indeed inactive. That just came down. And then there was
Really?
one more thing. Something to definitely keep an eye on. The Lions are indeed going to trade Matt Stafford or maybe even release him. And Deshaun Watson has named the New York Jets as his preferred destination to be traded to. Whoa. If listen, we already had a banger of a show planned for y'all. Now we started off with some booming news, and we'll get to that tomorrow night on our usual Monday show. For now, let's jump into these games. Fellas, four great games, four really good quarterbacks. Let's
Four
just
great
start
teams.
four great teams. Let's just start with the quarterbacks first and foremost, because it is all about the quarterbacks today. Which quarterback is under the most pressure to win today? Vic, start with you.
I mean, I'm gonna go with the number 12 in Green Bay. I mean, Rodgers, for all the hype that he gets, and rightfully so, some of the skill sets and some of the talent that he has, right, physical abilities. For all of that, when you put all of those things into perspective and all the excitement behind his aura, if you want to say, there has to be more appearances in the Super Bowls. There has to be more, I don't know, something. I mean, he's been in 4 NFC championships. Is this number 5 or number 4?
I believe this is going to be number 5.
Yeah, it's number 5. So I mean, I mean the pressure, and then versus the best to ever do it, to have the most championship appearances. This is his time. This is his time where he has to win this game.
Yeah.
So I don't see how anybody else has any more pressure. I really don't see it.
I mean, it'll be something if Brady represents the NFC in his first year in the NFC as many times as Rodgers and Breeze both have in their entire career. But hey, don't. Germ, you want to go ahead.
Let me just say this. This is the reason why the most pressure is on Rodgers. This is Josh Allen's first time in the big dance. Is going this far. I can't place that much pressure on a quarterback that's on a rookie deal that's going to have 2 more years after this year to try to get back to the big game. Right? That's number 1. Pat Mahomes has already won a Super Bowl. So win or lose in this game, he's already cemented himself in just as many games as Aaron Rodgers has in this game. He's been to 3 straight now AFC conference championships. 3 straight.
Hosting
so we're
them.
Not hosting them. This is different. This is different.
Hosting them.
He was somebody stepping off out of offsides from being in 2 consecutive Super Bowls, and it looked like it's about to be 2 consecutive today. That's what it looks like right now in the forecast. This is why it's Tom Brady and this organization. This was the least disciplined, most turned over franchise football team last season. You talking about a team that only has 17 total turnovers this year, and that all starts with the quarterback. Bruce Arians' first years with his quarterbacks, they normally throw 25 to 30 interceptions. Tom Brady threw 12. And a lot of it was due to spacing. So we're talking about a situation where we have a vertical offense, we have bad spacing at the beginning of the year, and then we have to make some changes and some adjustments because we have a quarterback that can make all of the throws. This is a 5-loss team. They are the worst record-wise team in the postseason left. How is it not Green Bay? How is it not Aaron Rodgers? It seems like every year they've been 13-3 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. This is the second consecutive year that you've been 13-3. You're telling me that there's no more pressure on this organization to get it done, considering that you've been a model of consistency if Aaron Rodgers is healthy? Nah, bro.
Yeah.
Cut the bull job, bro.
To me, it just sounds like excuses getting ready. I mean, they got that excuse bag ready to start throwing them out when this game is over. That's what it sounds like to me.
I mean, I think there's no doubt about it that Green Bay is the obvious answer in this one for all the reasons you guys said. He's 1-3 now in conference championship games. He's only won one of them, and that was the first one he went to back in 2010. They lost to Seattle. They got throttled by Atlanta. They got their ass whooped, by San Francisco. I mean, they just got overmatched by San Francisco. And we know what happened to them earlier this year against the Bucs. But that really doesn't matter today. This Green Bay team is primed to get to February, primed. And I think they have I think not only is this their best chance, because this is probably the best team he's had over the last couple of years. Not that those other teams weren't good. It's just that this team looks complete. It's not as it just only their best, it might be their last, and that's just the reality of it. Germ, toss it back to you, rapid fire style. Of the 4 defenses playing, which is the best?
I'm gonna give a slight advantage to Buffalo. One reason why, I think the safeties play a little bit better than the Bucs safeties. Not a knock at Winfield Jr. because he's been tremendous. I think ultimately Tre'Davious White the safety play, and the pass rush are the reasons why I'm going to give it to Buffalo. I think Buffalo can get home on just about anybody, and they make you uncomfortable. Their identity is solidified. The second would be Bucks for me. Go ahead.
Vic?
I'll go with Kansas City. I think they're very opportunistic. I think in a matchup like today, if Josh Allen is not at his best, as far as what we've seen just from this season, if he resorts back to some of those turnovers, some of those things that he does before this season, this defense is going to be the type to take opportunities and take advantage of them. Tyrone Matthew is excellent back there. And some of their edge rushers. I mean, Frank Clark, I think he's got a chance to still, provide some pressure. So I'll choose Kansas City.
Winfield Jr. is out today?
Yeah, yes. Winfield is out, which is cool as well. Tampa Bay is up there too. I mean, that's, but that loss for them is going to be significant. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Losing Antoine Winfield is a lot more significant than not having Antonio Brown. I think it's that simple. If he was playing, very realistic chance that I would have picked the Buccaneers in this one. I like Buffalo's being the answer. Vic, I thought Kansas City is an interesting spin. The opportunistic thing is certainly has merit because guess what? That's how they won last year. I'm going to go with the Packers. I love this secondary. I love the players they have. I especially love Jair Alexander. I think their pass rushers are tremendous, and they don't need to blitz in order to create a natural pass rush. I think Zadarius Smith is a true game wrecker, and I think their linebackers are better than what they had the last couple years. So I'm going to go with Green Bay's defense. I think this defense is fast, and I think they're physical, and I think they can do a lot of different things to match up accordingly, and it bodes well for them in this matchup today. That's about it. Let's jump into these games right now. We're going to start with the later game, the AFC Championship game. You got the Bills versus the Chiefs. The Bills were 13-3 in the regular season. The Chiefs 14-2. Their two losses being to the Raiders and the Chargers, although the one in the Chargers was Week 17, and Pat Mahomes didn't play in that game, so I don't know how much you want to take that into account. Interesting matchup here all across the board. 54.5 is the over-under. KC is 3.5-point favorites. Both of these offenses are top 5. Both of these offenses are top 5 in red zone, top 5 in third down. I'm sorry, middle of the top 5 in third down, middle of the pack in red zone. Where the big advantage is Buffalo's red zone defense is all right. They can make some stops here and there. Kansas City's red zone defense is dead last in the NFL, and I think that is something significant to keep an eye on. So, Vic, you know what, Jerem, let's start with you. Give us some opening thoughts on this game and some things that you've noticed, some tendencies, and some things that you're looking for to see how they play out today.
Buffalo as one of those defenses where it's really, really interesting. If you want to mess with this Buffalo team, it's in an order. It's an order that you have to go about. It starts with the running game. If you hit them in the mouth early, if you hit them in the mouth often, if you make those linebackers have to flow to the ball, react, finish, if you can get those guys out of pocket, you're going to have an opportunity to get other things going for you in your offensive sets. So, first thing, Clyde Edwards-Helaire in this particular matchup, if he plays, if he's healthy, he is actually the best had the best rushing performance against this Bills defense this year. Ironically, the other part about this is Travis Kelce had two very, very, very back-breaking touchdowns in the red zone against this team. Set up off of good play action, off of good motions and different things of that nature. Also, when Buffalo gets to the red zone, they do a lot of things with trying to zone people up. The problem is if your quarterback reads zone and they understand what zone they're playing pre-snap, you're going to be able to pick this defense apart, especially in the red zone. So what I look for Mahomes to do today is I look for him to be able to use those tendencies of what Buffalo does well in the red zone, and I used to use that against them. They're going to be able to score in this game, so that's not going to be the issue. Defensively, Buffalo has to find a way to make Kansas City kick 3. If you got to play man coverage when you get inside those 20s, that's what you're going to have to do. You have to make Pat Mahomes throw over your head and outside the numbers. Because if you allow him to throw inside, if you allow him and Travis Kelce, that dancing bear, to get hooking up, it's going to be a long afternoon. I just want y'all to know that is the key to this game for Buffalo's defense. Travis Kelce, running game, third down. It's in that order. Travis Kelce, third down, running game. If you can contain those three things in each situation that you need to, you'll be in position at the end of the game.
Absolutely. Excellent. Just excellent. Vic, your opening thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of piggyback off of what Jerome was saying, some stuff that we've been talking about in previous shows. The Bills defense, I mean, again, bend but don't break kind of situation. The only problem is that they're going up against one of the best offenses in the league.
Period.
So, when you look at the numbers here, you got both of them are top 3 in offense, okay, in terms of passing, right? But then they're at the lower half in terms of rushing. But who do you trust more, Pat Mahomes or Josh Allen, when it comes down to making those final plays, or Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill? So Pat Mahomes, highly skilled quarterback. Josh Allen is getting to that level, but who has the weapons? Who has those guys? Who has the veterans that can manipulate plays and run those routes that you need in the red zone? And Kansas City, of course, has the advantage there too.
And one last little point real quick to throw in there. There's another thing about Kansas City that this Buffalo team has not developed yet, which is something that they have to. Short passing game that substitutes for the running game. Yes. We have to be able to throw 4 or 5 yard plays to be able to supplement if we're not able to run the football. That's what Buffalo misses, and that's the reason why you see them in 3rd and 8s and 3rd and longs a lot. And that's going to be a problem, especially going up against this Kansas City defense. Kansas City does 2 things well. They disguise, and Honey Badger is one of the best players in the secondary in the NFL when it comes to finding the football pre-snap and post-snap. When I say pre-snap, that means pre-snap, I'm going to give you this look. I'm going to find where you think you're going to go with the ball, and post-snap, I'm going to get there. And I'm going to cause a deflection. I'm going to cause some type of traffic jam. And in this game, he did that actually. The last time they played this earlier this year, they started off in a look as if they were going to play a cover 1. And Honey Badger, what he does is he drops back into his robber position. But he comes from the opposite hash doing it, and he gets an interception. That is a huge part of what's happening right now. This team needs Josh Allen to take what he's learned from the last game and apply it to this one. 2 or more turnovers for Josh Allen has resulted in 2 of the 3 losses for the Buffalo Bills this year. That is huge. Make sure you control that. No turnovers. And ironically, Kansas City was his worst game this year.
Right. So let's keep it right there, Jerm. In terms of Josh Allen, he has to play better today, undoubtedly. The last game they played, he had 122 passing yards.
123.
14 of 22, 123 passing yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. So not only did 2 interceptions?
2 interceptions.
So not only did they hold him to under 150 passing yards passing, they also kept everything in front of them. They limited the big explosive plays. Mm-hmm. And I think that is crucial. Now, for Kansas City, that was sort of an anomaly. I mean, I know they held Lamar Jackson to under 100 yards passing. That's a 97. Different story. Right. But there were other games, and Jerm, I know you have the numbers on some of this. There were other games where quarterbacks threw for well over 300 yards. Justin Herbert's, Matt Ryan's, I think even Tua threw over 300 yards.
316, and he had his best game as a professional against them. Derek Carr threw for 347. Ironically, that was their loss. Tom Brady threw for 345. They had a chance to win that game late. Herbert had a chance to win. Tua had a chance to win. Ironically, defensively, Miami is the team that actually put the clamps on this defense, on this offense.
Offense, right.
So this is a very interesting game because
undoubtedly
Buffalo has the pieces to make it interesting. I just don't know if it's really going to be about, is Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, are they big enough to cover Travis Kelce?
Well, let's start with, let's keep it at Josh Allen for a second.
Go ahead. Let's go. Let's go. I'm sorry. I got so much.
No, you're good. He has to play better, right or wrong.
Absolutely.
So what are some things that he can do in this game, Vic? Some things that he can take advantage of matchup wise that favor them, or even his approach to the game for Josh Allen to play better.
Yeah, I mean, well, the first thing is, and I've mentioned this before again, Zach Moss not being available is huge in terms of their physical run game. That's number one. Something that has been inconsistent anyway throughout the season. The second thing is, and Jerm pointed out in our film study, is taking the short play, taking the short pass, taking the underneath throws. Kansas City, like, they will mix up their coverages. All right. So if Diggs is not available in terms of how they double him, he has to take the short passes. That means Cole Beasley has to be ready. That means Devin Singletary has to be ready. And they need about 8 catches themselves there to make this game close. Stephon Diggs does an excellent job running his routes. If he's one-on-one, he was the best in the league in one-on-one stats. I think he had like 83 catches, like 8 touchdowns when he was one-on-one. And that shows that not only he's beating his man, but Josh Allen is able to see when is his chance, his opportunity to take it or to throw it to Stephon Diggs. And that just shows how great they've been together. But the way Kansas City disguises some of their coverages,
yes,
it's going to be tough. It's a tough matchup.
Yeah,
they're the best at it. This year, they're the best at it.
And I think, to me, that's what my ultimate point is on this, is that patience is the number one thing for Josh Allen. The number two thing, identify where Tyrann Mathieu is on every snap. That's a Where's Waldo type of player. Those are my favorite defensive players. Identify where Tyrann Mathieu is, because if he's going to be on the crucial third downs, obvious passing situations, if he's going to be on Cole Beasley, that's when that patience comes into play, right? Because now you have, no offense to Cole Beasley, I'm taking Honey Badger in that matchup 11 times out of 10 and twice on Championship Sunday. So patience becomes a huge part of this for Josh Allen. On the flip side, for Mahomes, we know this offense is pick your poison, but the defense that Buffalo possesses, particularly that secondary, now that they are fully healthy, and maybe without Sammy Watkins, it's not pick your poison, it's pick your best matchup. And Jerm, you touched on these safeties, Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. How important are they in this matchup?
They're very, very important, because the thing is, the ideal matchup for Travis Kelce is Tremaine Edmonds, but he's not coverage ready. That's the difference. If you could put a 6'5" guy on a 6'5" guy, and he could be physical with him at the line of scrimmage, and you can take him out of the game with your linebacker, that takes the entire thing. Now your safeties can come in the box a little bit. Now your safeties can do some things, because I'm not worried. We can roll one side of coverage for Cheetah Bow, but now we can start, jam Mecole Hardman at the line of scrimmage, because now we're saying, we're going to send extra guy up the middle. Frank Clark, make sure you contain the outside consistently. I don't want you to let him get past this rushing lane. Mm-hmm. You do this. Now we can actually put into play an effective defensive scheme that we're going to be able to do 5-man pressures and roll one safety over to one side of the field, because we've taken away Travis Kelce, and we've taken away the deep threat in Cheetah Bow, and we've jammed the smaller receivers. That's what happens.
No, again, Vic, you want to touch on these safeties a little bit? Because I was going to ask you about the corners, but go ahead.
Right. No, if they're able to do a good job, like kind of covering the high, because it seems like at times when Pat Mahomes, he's looking for a deep shot. If that's covered, then he has to kind of make a quick decision, right or left, if he's going to go short. And that's where you see some of his interceptions. So, if they're able to confuse the coverages on him too, and actually cover well, which they can with Tre'Davious White, we're going to see that, a situation where they might get him to maybe turn over the ball once in a while.
The beautiful thing about hosting on the scene is the ball movement is elite. No matter what happens, the ball going to keep moving. That's an excellent segue, Vic. Let's talk about Tre'Davious White. Are you going to line him up on Tyreek Hill and say, hey, that's your man today? Or are you going to do some different things? How are you approaching your game plan to defend Tyreek Hill, and how does that relate to what Tre'Davious White will and will not do?
Want me to go first?
Yeah, your floor is
Yeah.
yours, bro.
And I don't know. This is going to be interesting because I know we talked about it before.
Yeah, talk about it.
You can find situations where he might be left 1-on-1 with him. You can find situations where, because this kid can play the slot and he can play against tight ends. Can he line up in front of Travis Kelce when Travis is lined up outside or in the slot? That's going to be interesting. Could Josh Norman then double Tyreek Hill, cover Tyreek Hill with a safety helping him out? It's going to be interesting what they pick. I think they should mix it up. Again, Pat Mahomes, that's when you kind of see some of his weaknesses, when there's things being mixed up, coverage is being mixed up. I think they should show they shouldn't stick with one strategy. I think they should game plan several things around to see what makes Pat more uncomfortable. But I would personally go with I would personally want to see some Travis Kelce, some Tre'Davious White and Tyreek Hill matchups 1-on-1. See, again, that's that speed on speed. See what happens there with that situation.
Sure. And we talked about this, Vic, on the lab show on Thursday when we came to this matchup, right? Yeah, you can probably put Tre'Davious White on Tyreek Hill, probably. But the ultimate reality is one man is not going to cover Tyreek Hill. It's the reason why Stephon Gilmore was never put on Tyreek Hill in one-on-one coverage. It was always Gilmore, you take Watkins, and McCourty and Harmon, Jason and Harmon, you take Tyreek Hill. And that's the way they played him. That's the way they matched up with him. Why? Well, simple. Tre'Davious White is your best corner. He possesses the most skills. Yes, he's fast, but he also possesses the most skills. So take his size, his physicality, his speed, his athleticism, and his IQ of playing the position and assign him somewhere else. Like Vic said, Travis Kelce. Why not put your most skilled corner, your most skilled defensive back on the most skilled pass catcher? And in the same token, you're gonna double Tyreek Hill anyway. So why are you're gonna limit the capabilities of Tre'Davious White if you put him on Tyreek Hill with a safety? More importantly, you're actually gonna open up the rest of the field because now Patrick Mahomes can just say, okay, that's fine. I got all this to work with here, and I know they can beat him. I know my guy is gonna beat your guy. If your best is covering Tyreek Hill with somebody else. So common sense will tell you, in my humble opinion, I know Vic believes the same thing. I know, Jerm, we're going to get your thoughts on this, believe the same thing. Let Tre'Davious guard Travis and other people and put some Josh Norman. Let him use his strength to disturb the timing off the line of scrimmage with Tyreek Hill and Pat Mahomes, because most of those are timing throws. And this way, you interrupt that rhythm just a little bit for 60 minutes. Eventually, a mistake will happen. Jerm, your thoughts on this?
I'm not going to say Josh Norman. I understand where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
They have two options that I like better than Josh Norman for Cheetah Bowl. To start, the first guy is Levi Wallace.
Okay.
Levi Wallace is a bigger corner, so you'll get a little bit better ability for you to put your hands up, can make it a little bit harder for Cheetah to have to catch over you, and you roll your safety over the top. That's the first thing. Tre'Davious' primary concern should be either Sammy Watkins or Mecole Hardman. Period. Travis Kelce, you only double him in certain situations. If you see Cheetah Bow in the slot, you don't double Cheetah Bow sometimes out of the slot. Make Pat Mahomes, I would send pressure. Why am I sending pressure? Make him have to complete some tough throws with people in his face when you see Cheetah Bow in the slot. If I see Cheetah Bow in the slot, I'm sending somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I need to force him to make plays that make him uncomfortable. That's what your defensive mantra is. Mm-hmm. Make him uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not going to do your defensive mantra, don't show up today. Make him uncomfortable. Levi Wallace and Tyron Johnson. Tyron Johnson, we're going to call him Mr. Housework. Pittsburgh, game-changing interception. Swung the whole momentum. Baltimore, that was ball game when he did that.
Yeah.
That is an important player. He needs to be on Cheetah, but don't switch up anything you've been doing all season just because there's faster. If Cheetah Bow's on the outside, you double him. If Cheetah Bow's on the inside, you trust your nickel back, and you send extra people. That is how I want to defend those two players today. Because Kelce is the third down guy, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen, Travis Kelce is the chain mover.
Yep, 1,000%. 1,000%.
3rd and 10, Travis Kelce is the guy. Period. The dancing bear, we get stab routes. It's the stab. I know the whole dance. It's the stab route, and then he go this way or he go that way. However you play him, it doesn't make a difference. We gotta stop Kelce on 3rd down. Y'all see how excited my eyes are? Kelce on 3rd down.
And Jerm, to your point, that's an excellent point about the 3rd down, because not only is it 100% accurate, it also is a testament to the game today. While everybody talks about how Andy Reid, he's the West Coast. West Coast don't have option routes like this, Chief. Make that perfectly clear.
Personnel dictate what you do.
Yeah.
Personnel.
Yeah.
If you don't have Darren Waller, if you don't have Travis Kelce, if you don't have George Kittle, if you don't have guys like that, you're not running option routes with your tight ends.
Right.
Tight ends don't run option routes. In fact, just to make this clear, we were just talking about a play in our group about Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews didn't do anything wrong on this play. Mark Andrews could have sat down if he wanted to. The difference is he knew Lamar wasn't going to throw the damn ball.
All right.
Next.
Gotta throw in a little Lamar slander every now and then.
Come on, man. I'm in my bag. Let's go.
So let's just close this game out, fellas. We got another game to talk about, another great game to talk about. So let's just close this game out with final thoughts and predictions. To me, I think it's going to all be about who has the better game plan. If Buffalo comes with that game plan where they're going to keep Tre'Davious White for the most part off of Tyreek Hill, unless maybe it's in the red zone, they're going to use Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer to do some things to interrupt Travis Kelce. Those are, to me, the biggest things for Buffalo. Disrupt and interrupt. They got to make Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable, and they got to make Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill uncomfortable. Don't give them these free releases. I think if they come with that game plan and they execute it well for 60 minutes, it bodes really well for Buffalo. The problem with Kansas City is they're very much like all other great athlete entities that we love or hate that are just so great. Golden State Warriors, Floyd Mayweather, Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. Everybody has a plan till you get to them, and it's like, oh, crap, this ain't the film no more. This ain't scout team no more. These are the real players doing these real things in a real game. That's the problem with Kansas City. I think no matter what game plan you have for them, they are very chameleon-like because they have the most chameleon player in Patrick Mahomes and the different things that he can do and the volume of offensive schemes that he can run. Give me Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs to make it back to the Super Bowl for the 2nd year in a row, a chance to defend the throne. Give me Kansas City 35-23. Term?
I don't want to be mean, but I'm going to have to be mean. I'm sorry. In order for Kansas City to lose this game, you need turnovers, you need to score 30 points, and altogether, you're going to need to find some type of running game. Because if you can't close the game, if you can't seal the deal, it don't make no difference. So at the end of the day, Buffalo, you can't do all three. You don't have the pieces. You need more people. That's simple. Give me Kansas City 42, Buffalo 28.
Yeah, I'm going to flip. I said 23, 35-32, Kansas City. I want to see a close game. Vic?
Don't forget to put Derek Jeter and the New York Yankees in that category of. Anyway, never mind.
Go ahead. You're right. I ain't gonna say nothing. Go ahead. You're right. Hey, Vic said next time you mention Pac, Biggie, and Jay-Z, don't forget Weezy Baby. That's what Vic just said. Go ahead, Vic.
Listen. Oh man, lost my train of thought here for a second. Pick for this game. Like Jerm said, this running game right now is non-existent. You know, they won't be able to close the game if they needed to. Another factor is short. Again, like you said, any types of screens, any types of flats and stuff like that could be an extension of a running game. This is a tough matchup. Buffalo, shout out to you for being here in this situation. Josh Allen, there's a lot to look forward with that kid. Okay, despite some of the criticism that these folks on the screen had for him, there's a lot to look forward to, but I think it stops right here. Pat Mahomes, despite some of his injuries right now, it's going to be too much for them. And I think as much as I want to see a close game, 35-21. 35-24, I'll go with this game.
KC. Understood. The moment we've all been waiting for. And kickoff is in 55 minutes for this one, okay? I have never been more excited for a playoff game. And I've seen Manning versus Brady about 5 times in the playoffs. I saw Breeze versus Brady last week. This, to me, is the most exciting NFL matchup in a conference championship that we have gotten over the last 20 years. A little bit of a buzzkill, no Antonio Brown, more importantly, no Antoine Whitfield, but a bit of a boost. Vita Vea is back, their outstanding run defender for the Packers. Their defensive end, Kingsley Keke, is still in concussion protocol. I know Packers fans are wondering, how is Mahomes out in 4 days? But this dude has been there for 3 weeks now. Mm-hmm. Don't ask me the questions. I don't make the rules, and I certainly am not a doctor, nor do I pretend to be one. I'm a lab extraordinaire. There's a big difference. Different type of lab in there, different science. Anyways, let's get to it. Kevin King. He's active. He's good to go. And Tramon Williams, veteran cornerback. They added him back. They elevated him. He's playing. Whatever. We'll see how that goes. Fellas, we'll go a little rapid fire here so we can speed it up a little bit. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. There was a post made in the group earlier today talking about the legacy, yada, yada, yada. We don't want to get into the narratives because we understand Aaron Rodgers is an all-time great. But if he loses this game today at home with this team, with the roster they possess, with an MVP season inevitable at this point, if he loses this game, falls to 1-4 in the conference championship games, are we dropping him a tier in terms of the all-time guys? Is he going to fall a little bit from being, fall from Dan Marino and the Drew Brees tier that he's in right now?
Let me tell you something. I'm making it simple, and I'm passing the Vic. I'm not dropping. I'm not adding anything to him. I can do without him. That's what I'll say. Go ahead.
Damn.
I should have just went first.
It's hard to top this.
He has one championship. He has been to 4 conference championships. This is his number 5 now. That's a great point. Where do we elevate him from here? Where? To me, it's already established as who's the greatest. To me, that's been established 5 years ago. You see what I'm saying? So I guess win today, and win next for the Super Bowl, and maybe you're what? Where?
You move him up a spot. You put him ahead of Drew Brees and Dan Marino because that's where he's at right now.
Fair. I mean, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say, Jerm. Is he already above those guys?
No, is he already above talent-wise, he's above Drew Brees every day. The problem is talent-wise, he's not above Dan Marino, but Dan Marino never accomplished some of the things that he's accomplished as far as goal-wise, as far as ultimate goal-wise. So, I mean, part of it is GMs, but we're talking about teams in which Aaron Rodgers has had opportunities. He's just been the Grinch that stole the Lombardis. He's been the person that has been the reason why they haven't capitalized on some things. People are going to blame everybody else but him, and that's what the problem is here.
Because he creates a perception of magic. But he's created a perception of magic.
Well, here's the thing: you can't pee on my head and then tell me that it's raining. There's a difference. You can't piss on my head and tell me it's raining. So in this situation, you can't tell me that he's doing something magical with the football when you watch other people around it do it with less theatrics.
Right. I mean, okay, we'll leave
David
it at.
Copperfield and
Mhm.
all that extracurricular. I don't care about all that. Let's just talk about for what the quarterback is. Talent wise, he's an all time great. He's a generational talent. But his personality mixed with that talent is what the issue is. He makes all of us Sagittarians look bad. And I don't like it. I need you to fix it or I need you to change your birthday. One or the other.
December 2nd, a star was born.
December 2nd, an asshole was born. That's what it
Oh,
looked like.
damn. All right, listen. Let's get to the matchup. Let's just talk about it. We've dissected this. We've built this up. We talked about it in the lab show. It is a lot more than just about the quarterbacks and what they can do. You got the front sevens for both of these teams. You got opportunistic secondaries for both of these teams. You got offensive line that know how to move people for both teams. You got some dependable pass catchers for both teams. You got a committee at the running back position. Let's just go open thoughts. Vic, let's start with you. Open thoughts on this matchup.
I'm interested in the Vita Vea versus Corey Lindsey matchup. Corey Lindsey was graded as one of the best centers in football, rightfully so. Tremendous pass blocker, but also can move people and moves pretty well in the run game. Has he gone up against a nose tackle? Okay, so remember the nose tackle is the zero technique directly in front of the center, lined up. Vita Vea. Has he gone up against somebody of that caliber, Germ? We looked through the schedule. Of course, he had Aaron Donald, but Aaron Donald plays more of the three technique over the guards, some of the five technique over the defensive ends. So he didn't really have to see Aaron Donald. We looked over the Vikings, and they did a good job on the Vikings. But has he seen a matchup like Vita Vea and those linebackers? You saw what the fits that the linebackers gave him and the guards for the Green Bay last year. So that's going to be interesting because now they got the linebackers to deal with, and now they got Vita Vea to deal with. So that's a matchup I'm looking forward to.
Absolutely. Germ, give us your opening thoughts, some things you're looking forward to, some numbers you may have.
So we talk about the Packers or which way we want to go?
Just opening thoughts on this matchup as a whole.
Well, I'll just say this, man. The Packers have something unique on their side in this situation. They have a running game that's clicking. They have a receiver named Devontae Adams, who is tremendous. They have a lot of good quality talent around them. Altogether, man, I just think it's a really, really good situation. Defensively, I mean, they are what they are. They're going to be good at rushing the passer in situations. They're going to have a lot of good things that they're going to be able to go over and consistently do to beat teams and things of that nature. So we're going to have a lot of good matchups here. I'll start with the numbers after we get back to that. But Mo, if there's anything else that you wanted to talk about before I jump into any numbers.
No, my opening thoughts on this game, really and truly, we talk about this. You see the hoodie, no beef, no Lombardi. As much as this game and this matchup is about the quarterbacks, and rightfully so, it deserves that type of hype, that type of buildup when you get two all-time greats going at it. The trenches is going to have a lot to do with this game, really and truly. I think the Buccaneers defensive line with Vita Vea back, I don't think people quite understand the impact of his presence on this line and just what it does to everybody else in that front seven and the entire game plan mentality philosophy of the offense and the offensive line. So to me, I'm really going to be focused on the trenches. If it's another one of those situations without Winfield, is going to be a little different. But if it's another situation where that front seven is overwhelming the Packers front seven, the Packers front, it could get ugly quick again. And that is going to be the first thing, similar last week where I can't remember who I said this to, but I was just, as a Buccaneers supporter, as a Brady supporter, to me, the first quarter was the most important part of the Saints Buccaneers game. Same thing here today for Green Bay. The first quarter is the most important part. Keep your possessions, keep the chains moving, Let your team settle in. Let your offensive line settle in. Get the blood flowing. Get them warm. Get them going. That, to me, is going to be the most significant thing right out the gate in this game. Go ahead, True. Back to you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The first scripted games are going to be scripted plays for them is going to be important because that's what you're going to gauge how they're defending you and stuff like that. So if they're not able to establish the run in the beginning of the game, if they're not able to establish some of their short passing game, their screens, their flats to the receivers, it's going to be another long day. It's going to be another long day.
Agreed. Go ahead, Germ.
So consistencies. When the Packers win and when the Packers lose. When the Packers win, Aaron Rodgers, ironically, has only had one game this year that he's had more than 30 completions. That was against the Minnesota Vikings. He was 32 of like 34, something like 32 of like 43, and he had 364 yards and 4 touchdowns. He dominated the game. Now, ironically, against this Bucs defense, outside of division games that we know are hard to gauge by numbers and things of that nature. Obviously, the Bucs didn't play well in either one of those games against the Saints. But the there are consistencies with the Bucs. The Bucs are 1-3 in the 4 games this year that a quarterback has 30 completions or more. Let me say that again. 30 completions or more.
Wow.
The quarterbacks that beat them this year, Nick Foles had 30 completions. Jared Goff had 30 completions or more, and Pat Mahomes had 30 completions or more. Matt Ryan is the only exception to that rule. And that was week 15 when Brady and them came back in the second half. There has been 8 total receivers that have had a 100-yard game against this Bucs defense. 2 of them were in the same game. We have Kupp and Woods. We have Tyreek Hill and A-Rob. A-Rob didn't have 100 yards, but he had 10 catches. In fact, the only players that have had 10 catches against them are Woods, Kupp, Tyreek Hill, and A-Rob. Ironically, those games they lost. The only one that they didn't lose, Calvin Ridley, Matt Ryan. With those things being said, tight ends. There's only been 2 tight ends that have had 80 yards or more against this Bucs defense. Jared Cook in week 1 and Travis Kelce in week 12. Ironically, they lost both of those games. We're starting to see some trends here. Trends are, if you're going to let a receiver have 10 or more catches, that's a sign that a receiver is getting a little bit too many looks. That means that your defensive coverage in the back end is not focusing on the players that they need to be focusing on, making other guys beat them. And notice these are all go-to guys. So there has been no secondary receiver that has had more than 5 catches against this team besides Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods, however you want to say or stack those players. After that, we have those things there. Green Bay is 0-3 this year when a team rushes for 32 carries or more. The 3 losses, Tampa Bay, Minnesota, and Indianapolis. All 3 of those teams had 32 or more carries. Ironically, the Bucs and Indianapolis both had 32, and Dalvin Cook had 30 by himself with 4 other rushes from the rest of the team. What is my point of all of this? Aaron Rodgers only has 1 game of 30 completions.
Oh.
That is a very big factor in this game. Why is that a big factor in this game? Because 30 completions signifies that you're able to control the game. Because as you see, they don't give up a lot of rushing yards. So that means you're going to have to complete 30 passes. That means you're going to have to supplement some of those short passes for your running game. Aaron Rodgers does the same thing that Josh Allen does, which is he doesn't like to take a lot of those underneath throws sometimes. And when he does take the underneath throws, it's because he doesn't want to take a risk down the field. Here's the difference. The linebacker play in all of these games that they lost, we got Kendricks, and we have in Minnesota, they got Kendricks. That's one of their linebackers. Ironically, he played a stellar game against them in that win. Ironically, we had Anthony Walker Jr. and we had my guy Darius Leonard. Both of them played stellar against Aaron Rodgers. And we already know what the Bucs linebackers were. We already know about Levante and 45. When this game gets going, that's going to be the key. Aaron, are you going to make the simple throws and make them defend every blade of grass? You have to. This Bucks defense is way too fast. That's the only way you're going to get 45 and 54 out of position. You have to make them defend every blade of grass. You have to make them think that you're going to go to the left and come back to the right with some plays. You're going to have to do a lot of those things. And as well as that, sweeps, throw it away. Throw it away. You cannot do that against this defense. Why? Because Ndamukong Suh now has become the second most dangerous run stopper on the field now. So now we have a situation at hand where Big Vita is going to take 2 blockers every trip. Big Vita adds pass rush also on third down. This is the reason why he was a top 11 pick, because he adds pass rush on third down. Toss sweeps, throw those away. Quick screens, use them very, very selectively. If you're going to use it, you better catch them in a blitz like the Rams did, because that's the only way that this is going to work. It's too many things that go against Green Bay in this matchup right now. Way too many.
Agreed.
Because the defense of the Bucks, as much as they give up completions, the thing about them is they don't give up completions in situations that make differences.
Yeah.
That's the key. So I'm gonna let y'all go ahead. I'm sorry, that's a lot of
No,
information.
you're good. No, it was,
But-
listen, it's all because everything you just said, we're going to take it and dissect it. So, Vic, let's start with the linebackers. Talk to me about how important those 2 guys are, what they do to this defense, and what they do well as individuals.
Right. So, like we saw in the film study yesterday, you showed some really excellent plays. You know, when it comes to Levante David, when it comes to Devin White, they showed not only their physical abilities, right? So their speed, right? But how smart they are, their ability to read, react, and finish. So they were able to read, right? But they also keep their shoulders lined up with the line of scrimmage, right? So you saw how Devin White was able to basically run he was like the running back of the defense. Basically mirror exactly what the running back was doing, exactly what hole the running back is going in that game against the Packers. So, you know, it's going to be interesting because those 2 guys, the speed that they have, plus Vita Vea taking up more space, it's going to be tough for this Packers run game. So again, I mean, not only physical ability, but these 2 are some of the smartest linebackers in the game right now.
Yeah. Let's go to another subject here. Let's talk about Jair Alexander real quick. And Vic, we're going to toss it right back to you. Where is your preferred matchup if you're Jair Alexander and the Packers? Do you want him traveling with Godwin, or do you want him traveling with Evans?
Jerm might be able to answer that a little bit more. I know he studied him, but if I'm not mistaken, them not having Antonio Brown is probably going to have him on Mike Evans more often, because I'm not sure if he runs the slot a lot. Jerm,
He does.
Jair, so
he does everything.
So remember.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Sorry, but
No, you got it.
remember when we talk about number 1 corners, right, Vic? And we scouted Jair, we scouted Ward, and we scouted Josh Jackson. Jair was the best in all 3 spots. Flanker, and there. The problem is, if you put him in a slot, that means he's going to be on Godwin, right? But the Bucks have formations where they do that twin formation set. He's going to have to pick somebody.
Twin stacks.
Right.
The twin formation with the twin stacks. There is nothing the Packers can do with that. There is nothing no team in the NFL can do with that formation. It doesn't matter if it's 21 personnel. It doesn't matter if it's 2 tight ends. It doesn't matter if it's 4 receivers. If they get the proper depth, the proper spacing, there's nothing you can do against it. That's going to be the key. So Jair, in my opinion, third down, I would be on Godwin. First down, I may go to Evans.
Yeah.
I may shift that way, but I need Jair. This is the game you got to PFF graded you as you didn't give up very many yards this year, which I don't believe half of that, because it's the corner position, bro. It's hard to not give up yards. It's really hard.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be real. It's looking like he's gonna wear himself out today. He's gonna have to wear himself out today.
Right, because it looks like he might have to travel. I mean, not travel. He might have to guard both of them, basically.
Situational.
And, right. So, like we pointed out yesterday as well, they do a lot of those twin concepts, but where they're switching, a lot of switch concepts. So are they going to stay lined up in one section, or are they going to switch with the receiver? That's going to be interesting to see right there.
Right.
And
And
then,
go ahead.
then the film shows that Jair understands the switch concept. The people around him don't.
Yeah,
It shows it on
it
film.
does.
Like I watched a game where Amos literally missed the assignment and there was wide receivers open in the end zone, bro. And Jair took away the easy throw to Matt Ryan, bro. I'm not, bro. Oh my God.
Who's best at picking which one is the weakest link out of that?
We don't have
Well,
to. We don't have
the
to talk about it.
samurai. The samurai.
We don't have to talk. Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
Just give me Samurai Jack.
Undoubtedly. Here's the thing about this Jair Alexander thing, right? To me, again, if I'm Mike Pettin, I am simplifying what I'm doing. Okay, I'm gonna go with my pattern reading, and I'm gonna go with my man coverage. I'm gonna go with those two plays, and I'm gonna say, hey, we're gonna run we're gonna run these two plays, just different variations, nothing too extreme. I'm simply putting Tremont Williams on Mike Evans with a safety. I'm gonna let Kevin King handle Scotty Miller or Tyler Johnson, and I'm gonna have Jair just travel with Chris Godwin. That is what I'm doing. That is the game plan, and I am gonna stick with it, and I'm gonna live and die with it if I'm Mike Pettin. Because if I get to mixing and matching, and I start to overthink against the most greatest thinker on the field, I'm gonna lose. You can't outthink him. You just simply have to outplay him. You have to outplay his offense. You have to out-execute his offensive personnel. It's that simple. You're not going to go in there with a game plan designed to intellectually beat this quarterback. You got to go in and say, our only shot is to show you that we as a unit are better than your unit. That's Green Bay's only shot. And that's where it goes to the pass rushers. Because again, they got a situation, fellas, where they're facing a defensive line that can generate a natural pass rush with just 4 guys. Talk to me, Jerm. Let's start with you about Zadarius Smith and the rest of the gang.
Zadarius is a lion. So what happens is we did a National Geographic. Well, there is the lion. He is the most fierce animal in the jungle. He is the king of the jungle. That's going to be the commentary for Zadarius Smith versus Donovan Smith today. Why? Because Donovan Smith is looking like a cattle, and he's looking like a lion. It's going to be important that you get your ass down, Donovan Smith, and get a nice power step on your pass sets. I'm not going to say it again, damn it, because I know what the hell I'm talking about.
Listen,
I need to see your butt like Beluga's is when he's out. Bakatari with a nice pressure step and come off and kick them feet. Let's go. Let's get in gear. Protect 12. You win the game. That damn simple.
Listen, but he did well against Chase Young, and he did well against oh my goodness, the one that he gave up. Yes, Henderson, who he gave up 3 sacks against.
Yeah.
So is he due? Is he due today?
He could be due at any point. 12 has been getting the ball out as well.
Right. And that's very key, Jerm. 2 things have happened to help show that Donovan Smith has been playing better. 2 things. Number 1, they started getting the ball out quicker. Number 2, Brady, when he drops back, he does this like little arc from the left side to the right side and climb up. He has been doing that a lot, especially on deep shots. And that's to help Donovan Smith. That is strictly to help Donovan Smith. That is how high level of quarterbacking this quarterback's at. Damn it. But y'all go ahead and let fantasy football talk about it. Let's close this show out, fellas. Closing thoughts, unless there's something that I missed. Did I miss anything?
No.
Closing thoughts. Let's close it out. Vic Jr., let's start with you. Give me your closing thoughts and your predictions on this game.
I'm hoping for a good football game.
Yes.
But I think the Buccaneers win this game.
Nice.
By 17.
Whoa.
I'm going to go 37-20-ish. I hate prediction on scores, but it might be that much of a gap, bro. Jeez. It really might be.
I hope you're right. Jerm?
Packers, Aaron Rodgers, you need 30 plus completions. Control the game. You have to control the game by keeping 12 on the sideline, score 7, make them kick 3 in the red zone when it comes down to it. On the other end, 12, just go be 12. That's all you got to do. Don't turn the ball over, and you do your job. Make sure you hand that ball off. The keys to victory. Buccaneers, if you give that ball off 30 times, you haven't lost.
Sure.
You don't lose. You don't lose when you get to 20, but when you get to 30, you're unbeatable. I just want you to know Leonard Fournette will have whatever he wants, and so will Rojo. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. I told Vic this. I'm telling y'all this now. I don't think this game is going to be close. There is nothing here that I have found in the tendencies of these two football teams that says if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come out and be the MVP, they just don't. They get blown out. They get their doors blown off. I think the Bucs put up 35, and I think the Packers may put up 17 points in this game.
Well, I certainly hope that you guys are right. Here's the biggest thing to me, right? And I'm gonna be honest with you about something.
Here we go.
Here we go. There's a lot of matchups. There's a lot of mismatches, advantages, things that favor each side, whatnot, and have you. At the end of the day, to me, it's gonna come down to one thing. The honorable mention. Whichever quarterback plays best. Okay, cool. We know that. We understand that, especially when you got guys of this magnitude. The number one thing in this game to me, the team that stays true to who they are will win this game. Whoever is going to go out there and say, this is who we are and we are good enough is going to win this game. If one of these coaches decides to do something different, if one of these coaches decides they're going to overthink this or another, it could be the simplest thing that gives one team over the other the advantage. Because while, yes, there are some things where it looks like Tampa Bay can overwhelm Green Bay, on the flip side, there are some things for Green Bay that favor them. And if Green Bay stays true to who they are, gets a much better running performance, I can very easily see them winning this game. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great game. Do I have to make a prediction? Is that in my contract? Can we just end the show? Can we just say, hey, enjoy the games, get some snacks. We'll talk a little later. Why do I have to make a prediction?
You do what you want, bro.
Mo, just make your prediction, bro. Just come on.
39-38, Green Bay. We thank y'all for tuning in.
I hate them, y'all. I gotta go, man.
I gotta go.
Shout out to April got her predictions 37-31 Kansas City, 38-37, just that Brady hate. It's all good. We'll see what happens. This guy, man.
Which guy? This guy. George or Papi.
What was it last time? 1918 Redskins.
29-28 Saints.
29-28. Okay, 39-30. Okay, we see the routine.
All right, so
talking about tendencies, huh?
Yeah.
Little mobile feelings, baby. Hey, listen. In all seriousness, follow us on Twitter, scene_the, on Instagram, the.scene, scene spelled SCEN. We will be back tomorrow. 94 is always going to be in the swing of things on the channel. You can see the dish is coming back. Stoppage Time FC is going to start doing some things. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you join the Facebook group, Views from the 22, 94 Feet of Life. And there's a link to the rest of the groups in both those groups. Enjoy the games. Championship Sunday, baby. It don't get better than this. Best day in football. Take us home, True.
22. We out.